Okay, this is part 2 of part A, Behold Our God. So in part 1, we learned the first 2 verses, and now we're going to do verse 3 and the ending. All right, so here we have, who has felt the nails upon his hands? So again, we have our word who that we learned in the last video. For felt, you take your touchy-feely finger and you bring it up like this. So felt or feel. Okay, so who has felt? For nails, there are several things we could do, but what I have chosen is to like hammer and then put the nail through like that. Nails. Okay. All right, so for upon his hands, you could leave off the upon here. It'd be the same as on if you wanted to say that, but this kind of takes the place for the nails upon. And then I would do his. For hands, you touch the base of your hand and then you touch the base of the other hand. Okay, if it was singular, I would just do it on one hand, but since it's hands plural, I'm doing it on both. So that's who has felt the nails upon his hands, bearing all the guilt of sinful man. So for bearing, you touch the shoulder like this. This is also burden. Think of the man in Pilgrim's Progress, Christian, carrying the burden on his back. Okay, so he's holding on to that burden. So you touch your shoulder like this. So that's bear or that's burden. If you do it R's, that's responsibility. Okay, so bearing. All, we already know that sign, all. For guilt, you take the G and touch it twice. Guilt. Of is optional. Do a quick OF. For sinful, we already know sin. And you can just do sin. You don't have to add the full, but if you want to, the sign for full is to come like this. It's like if you are measuring a cup of flour and you level it off because, you know, it's full. So you go that way. If you go out this way, that means enough. It's like you're pushing it away from you because you have enough. But if you bring it toward you, it's full. So you can do sinful like that, or you can just do this and let that be sinful. For man, remember we have the male part of the head and the female part of the head. So remember, boy is touching the brim of a baseball cap like that, and girl is touching a ribbon of a bonnet. So for a man, we touch the male part of the head and then come down and make this sign, which is the sign for fine. So a male fine is a man, and then a female fine would be a lady. Okay, this can also be gentleman, but either man or gentleman, and then this would be lady or woman. Okay, either one. All right, so so this was bearing all the guilt of, that's optional, sinful man. God eternal, humbled to the grave. So we know God already. We know eternal already. And you can do forever with the Y if you want to, or you can do the E for, to be specific for eternal. That's fine. For humble or humbled or humility, you have one arm this way and then your dominant hand comes down. It's lowered underneath. So it becomes humbled by lowering itself. Okay, so humbled. 2 I would leave out. This is again the sign for 2, but you can omit it. And then grave, remember, is the hump of dirt. Okay, and then, oops, my words here. Okay, Jesus, Savior, risen now to reign. So here's Jesus, which we know. Savior, remember, use S hands, and you're bound, and then you're set free. And then to make it Savior, you add the person sign. So it's Jesus, save person, Savior. Risen. Now in the other verse, when we did rise, we did this for rise because that's, you know, not rising from the dead. But in this case, we're talking about Jesus risen from the dead. So we're going to use the sign for resurrection. So, you know, you have him dead and rising like this. So risen. Okay, the sign for now is to take Y hands, or some people just use cupped hands like this, but you drop them down. It's like now, now. And as long as we're learning the sign for now, and you know the sign for day, if you put those together, a now day, that means today. Today is now day. Okay, we're just doing now in this song. All right, then you have the sign for rain. Again, I would skip the 2. So rain is where you take X's and you pretend like you're controlling a marionette puppet. So this is the sign for rain. It's a sign for rule, as in ruling. It's also the sign for sovereign or control, anything like that. Okay, reigning. So we have Jesus, Savior, risen now to reign. And then it repeats, behold our God, which we did in the other video, so I'll just go through this quickly. Seated on his throne. Come, let us, or let us, adore him. Behold our King. Nothing can compare. Come, let us adore him. Okay, and then we have this little part that says, you will reign forever and let your glory fill the earth. And men really should do, you will reign forever, and women, let your glory fill the earth. But just, you can either do both of those parts, which means you kind of have to do them in a hurry, or you can just pick one to do. And it'd be nice if like half of us did one and half of us did the other, and so that we're working together on that. So just do whatever you want. I will do all of it, of course, so that you can see it. Okay, so you will reign forever. You, for will, you can leave that off, but I'll just show you that sign. Will just comes a little bit forward into the future. The sign for future goes out farther. So that's future and past. So future and past. So will is just a little bit out there. You don't really need to sign that word at all in this case. So you will reign forever. And then let your glory fill the earth. We really know all of that already. So let, you can do it with L's or the flat hand. Let your glory fill would be the same as full, as we did in sinful man. Full or fill. The earth, we learned last time, you have the earth with the axis. Okay, so you will, or you can leave that out, reign forever. Let your glory fill the earth. Okay, and then it does that a number of times, and then it repeats the chorus several times too, where we have behold our God seated on his throne. Come, let us adore him. Behold our King. Nothing can compare. Come, let us adore him. And that repeats. All right, so now we have the signs to the entire song, if you see both parts of both videos. And then don't forget to watch the video where we practice with the music and go through the entire song with the music one time. All right, have a good time practicing.